With paintings, things are not always as they seem. Sometimes a very beautiful painting can just look tremendous with a vibrant color and very intact, with maybe hundreds of years old, with no losses, no scrapes, no scratches, no blemishes, no holes, no marks on the sides from mice or rats eating at it. Also, you can have paintings that appear very damaged and very not worthy of really spending time with, but are actual treasures. And they might be covered in oil, grease, butter smoke, just dirt, pigeon droppings, also spider and fly droppings. So you can have paintings that where only half the painting exists, but with these you really have to look carefully because you can be mistaken both ways. The very paintings that appear very damaged can actually be extremely valuable from an art history or religious context point of view. The paintings that are very beautiful and without blemish or without any damage can actually be heavily restored, and they could be not just conserved but restored to deceive and to hide the fact that they were previously very damaged, and so they've been repainted in modern times merely to sell. So I have one example here of a Hevajra painting. It's a Hevajra Mandala, eight deity Hevajra, surrounded by well, enclosed in a square palace, and then a ring of lotus petals, and then the ring of the eight great cemeteries, and then surrounded by the five colored flames of pristine awareness. Then at the top of the composition, we have the lineage beginning at the top left-hand side, which is very common for the 15th, 16th century. After that, we commonly then have a central alternating lineage at the top with a Vajradhara or a Samantabhadra in the middle, and then the lineage alternating to the right and left. But prior to that, in the 15th, 16th, it's very common to have the lineage start at the top left side and move across, read across left to right. Now, lower down in the composition, we also have a continuation of the lineage, and then we have three protectors at the bottom right side. Now, the painting belongs to the Sakya tradition, which is fine, and the style is more or less a continuation of the Gyantse style from the mid 15th century. Now, the issue is there are very few blemishes, very few errors or mistakes, or everything is just fine. It's intact. The iconography is great. Plus, all of the figures have inscriptions. Now, if you turn the painting over, there's a very elaborate calligraphy done on the back in a circle, mimicking the mandala on the front. The back has the mantras and the dharanis of Hevajra written on the back. Now, this painting was sold in the public marketplace to the same purchaser 3 times. It was sold 3 times because after it was purchased the first time, it was said that it's in too good a condition. It must be over-restored, so it's not right. It's just not right for studying art history. It's been completely restored. Then it was returned to the vendor. Then some other experts said, no, there's no problem with this painting. So then it was purchased again. But then someone else said, oh, but the mantras and the dharanis written on the back in Tibetan script, but the language they're written in is Sanskrit. Oh, there's errors on the back in the transcription. Therefore, it must be incorrect, and maybe it's actually just a forgery. Maybe the whole thing is just a fake. It was returned to the vendor a second time. Only after other experts were brought in did the did the artwork finally, did it become purchased and end up in the Rubin Museum of Art. And it is, in fact, completely correct. And it actually belongs to a set of paintings of which 6, 7 other paintings from the set have been identified. And it does come from circa 1500, and it is completely accurate and belongs to the Dzongpa tradition of the Sakyas. And it is not unusual for paintings that have a smaller dimension, which this one does, to not have a lot of paint loss or damage, because smaller format paintings are not always rolled. They can also be stored flat, which does not allow for cracking when it's stored flat. And also it's very common for Tibetan inscriptions to have errors and to have omissions. And this is nothing out of the ordinary. So this is just a story about a painting that looked too good to be true, was returned twice, finally found a home at the Rubin Museum, and it's a treasure within the collection of the Rubin Museum.